In his ongoing defamation lawsuit against UMG, Universal Music Group, Drizzy's legal team is now pointing to Kendrick Lamar's halftime show performance, specifically the performance of Not Like Us, as proof that the label is continuing to push what he calls a defamatory campaign. A pretrial conference is scheduled for April 2nd, 2025, that UMG, of course, wants to delay. Now, Drake's lawyer told the judge that delaying the case would only let UMG spread the song even further, reminding the court that over 133 million people, that's a lot of people, watched Kendrick perform it at the Super Bowl. UMG is trying to get the case dismissed. They have until March 17th to file that motion. And Drake is fighting to move forward with discovery, claiming that the label used fake streams and radio play to make the diss track a global hit, all to sabotage him before contract negotiations. And that's Drake's point, right? Is that your UMG is trying to tear me down, and so they're positioning Kendrick Lamar in these extraordinarily unworthy, unfair ways. They're making fake streams. They're making fake. They're doing payola. They're doing all the things to make sure that this song gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so that I get smaller and smaller and smaller. And he's saying the Super Bowl is yet another example of it. Look, if I'm Drake, I think Drake has every right to be upset. If you're Drake and someone is actively calling you a pedophile, if you are Drake and someone is actively calling you a pedophile, and you're not one, you have every right to be pissed off. Now, there's an argument to be made about whether people really believe that about him and whether it's just part of the battle and that Kendrick just got the upper hand with him, because Kendrick has said some awful things about Drake too. But that's still within the context of the battle. But if you're saying the Universal Music Group, which represents both of them, is putting its thumb on the scale to make it look like Drake is losing and to make the diss track against him bigger and bigger and to make him look awful, now you got a point. You got a point. I just don't know if it's true or not. And I'm not saying he should sue. You know, again, you lost the battle. I think you got to hold that L and just keep it pushing. But I understand his point in saying UMG is cooking the books. Now, what I find fascinating is that Drake won by cooking the books. The same machine that Drake is saying is suppressing him was the one that was elevating him. You can't say all the victories are mine, all the losses are theirs. It's not fair, and it's not accurate. And look, Drake just released that album Party Next Door that did a couple 100,000 units. I mean, it exceeded expectations, certainly exceeded my expectations. Drake is still Drake. Drake is still a beast. Drake is still the top of the hill. It's just not the same as before. It's like LeBron. Like LeBron was still the best past his prime, even if he wasn't the same LeBron. Ironically, that's where Drake is right now, I think. And Drake is still capable of doing lots of extraordinary things, but he feels like Universal Music Group is the reason why he's not. I don't know if that's true or not. I think artists have natural ebbs and flows, and careers hit sunset at some point. And Drake is just might be getting past his peak. And I think Universal Music Group could very well say, you know what, we see that, and we're going to move on to the next star. That's entirely possible. I'm not going to speculate on what's true and what's not between Drake and Universal Music Group. I am going to say that pointing to the Super Bowl and saying, look, I'm being harassed and shamed even more because 133 million people heard Kendrick come at me like that. If you're already in the argument, the Super Bowl is the cherry on top. But if you're losing the argument, then it looks like you're just whining a lot more. It makes you look more like a sucker. Zakiya said, is he trying to renegotiate his contract or something? His contract's just about up, from what I understand. And I heard he's asking for 600 M's, 600, maybe even 700 M's. But I heard 600 is the number I've heard most consistently, $600 million. He got 400 the last time. He got 400 million the last time, and he's now asking for 6. Look, Drake might get it. No, he's not. Drake's not getting that much money. But Drake's going to get a Brinks truck filled with money from them. Although now things are so bitter, I don't know if the them is going to be Universal Music Group. He may have to move to someplace else. UMG don't want to lose Drake, though. I don't care how much on a decline he is. He's still He's still making a lot of money for them. Kismet said he may get dropped. Drake ain't getting dropped by UMG. Y'all crazy. I mean, Taylor Swift makes that building rock, but after Taylor Swift, you start to get into the black music, the urban music. Drake is right there near the top of the list, if not at the top of the list. He's still no more rapper than sales and streams and all that stuff. So they're not dropping Drake. They are not dropping Drake. But they also don't want to keep getting sued by Drake. So I don't know how this thing ends. I have no idea how this ends. But it'll be interesting to see if it gets dismissed. I don't think it does. I think this goes to trial and you see some interesting stuff happen.